Okay, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. We're live.
Okay, here we go. Welcome, comrades, to another episode of the USSR. I'm Saint. Here, joined today by my other usual Saint, Mike D. What up, Mike?
Yo, what's a proper US SR greeting? Like that's not Sieg Heil, that's Germany, right? So,
Yeah,
uh, hello,
uh,
comrade.
yeah, evening, comrade. In a bad Russian accent, I guess. Yeah, don't want to do that on the podcast. No, 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 no. But we got another giddy today, and this week we're gonna be doing Netflix. I guess they're calling it a special. It wouldn't be a conventional Netflix comedy special, but we're doing Bo Burnham's 2021 special Inside. If you haven't watched it, I'd advise you to pause the podcast right now or the live stream or whatever, however you do that, and go to Netflix and watch it. It's on Netflix. It dropped on May 30th, and go watch that first because we're gonna spoil everything, talk about everything in depth. And if you haven't seen it, you need to because spoiler alert. I think it's a masterpiece. It's probably the best piece of content I've watched in a while. So if you haven't, go do that and then come back and listen to us talk about it. But yeah, we're doing Inside by Bo Burnham. And well, let's just off the bat, Mike. I've been badgering you for the past, I don't know, 2 weeks or since it dropped to go and watch this. So I'm curious to see what your opinion of it was after all my hype.
You really want me to go first, huh?
I already spilled the beans how I feel about. I mean, I'll get in depth of my in-depth thoughts about it, but yeah, I'm dying to know what you thought about it after I had pretty much hyped this up a lot, trying to get the other guys to watch it, and so Mike finally did. So I am really curious on your opinion of it.
So, all right. So let's say as an hour and 20 minutes of my life I won't get back.
Wow, really?
Listen, I'm gonna let you kind of take the lead and talk about everything, but I'll talk a little bit about it. So I will give the guy props for creating what is technically a great special. All the effects he does, all the equipment he learns how to operate, all the music he knows how to play. He just put out a soundtrack for this special. So I mean, this guy, I never knew him before this. I don't. Maybe I heard his name. He looks familiar, but I don't know his comedy. And so I just wasn't a fan. Like I was waiting for something to drop. I mean, I can touch on the little things. I'm sure we will, like that were in the special, but I just wasn't a fan. I throughout the hour and 25, I was just like waiting for it to like hook me a little bit, but I couldn't get hooked.
Actually, that's a really interesting point. If so, you came into it cold, not really knowing his comedy before. You hadn't seen his other specials. Let me pull it up right now. He's had, originally he started. I think he was 14 or 16, and he was on YouTube. And basically, he did this. He basically started by doing songs and parody songs off YouTube. Like I think in 2010, 2011, real early in his career. So no, actually, let's do this back 2006. That's how far back he went on YouTube. So almost for half his life he's been doing the YouTube thing. And he's had two Netflix comedy specials. I think let's see here. First one was sorry, it was what was 2013, and 2010 he had words. And so also he were you familiar with the movie Eighth Grade?
I think I've heard of it, but I never saw it.
Right, Eighth Grade was a film that he wrote and direct, and I thought it was
Okay.
pretty good. It was about a young girl who's in eighth grade trying to transverse, being on social media, being awkward, trying to um I guess navigate what it's like to be an eighth grader in the year 2000, with the social media, with friends, the awkwardness of it. And in the film, this girl has her own YouTube channel where she's trying to project a vote of confidence that she doesn't really have. So it was really interesting. I think it was a movie, of our times, small budget, but I think the critics really liked it. So I didn't know that. I thought maybe you were familiar with some of. I guess I should have asked. I thought you maybe were familiar with some of his original work. Oh, here it is. So yeah, he did a 30 Minutes Comedy Central Presents, and then in 2013 he had a special called What, and then another one in 2016 called Make Happy. And then in between there, he's actually been directing other comedy specials for other comedians, like Chris Rock's latest one, Tambourine. Bo Burnham directed that, and also Gerard Carmichael, his stand-up special, he directed that. So not only has he been doing his stuff in independent movies, but other comedians have really, taken to or been, impressed by his directing style, and they've asked him to come and direct their comedy specials. So there's a little backstory on him, but yeah, I didn't know that you weren't familiar with him at all. I guess that should have been a question. Going in there cold, now I can kind of get how maybe you didn't really know what to expect. I mean, did you have any idea what to expect, or were you just going totally blind?
No, I really hate the YouTube, not YouTube, the Netflix trailers, how they autoplay and stuff. So I don't think I'd seen one for it. Even, I mean, you pretty much mentioned it to me like day it dropped, but I don't recall seeing any promotion for it. I also don't watch really commercials at all or see many ads. Not that there was, but yeah, the first thing I heard about it was you telling me about it. And now that you mentioned, I do remember his name from eighth grade when that came out. Like I said, I never saw it, but I remember his name from that. But I never seen his comedy. Unfortunately, I think we've discussed on the main podcast a few times, I'm not really into stand-up specials lately. I mean, I like going to see comedians, like we discussed. I love Jim Jeffries. I'll go see him anytime. I'll try other people. Yeah, I mean, favorites. Oh, totally. I mean, if you don't like Jim Jeffries, I mean, I don't know why you're listening to our podcast, but hey, thanks for listening. but yeah, I knew nothing about what to expect walking in. So, like I said, I'm sure we'll talk more about it. He touches on a lot of stuff, whether or not it's him semi-apologizing in a comedic way about past jokes he may have made, and like the whole Aladdin costume thing, and the whole... Then there's the whole comedic bit of white women Instagram thing. And, I get it. And like I said, technically, it's great. Like, I mean, I can't think I would ever be able to do that myself. Like, he's hitting the pedals for the lights. He's operating a light behind his back. He's singing in the microphone. He's playing the guitar. He's playing the keyboard. He's doing everything. So technically, it's amazing. But it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Gotcha. And I guess the reason why I've elevated to a status, and for people that don't know, I'm usually referred to, especially at my job, and for people, I'm usually referred to as a hater, because guys on the boat, they'll start talking about various movies and TV shows and ask me what's my opinion of them, and I'm just known as a guy who doesn't like anything. And from my point of view, I just don't like mediocre, or I don't like, it's like, to me, when I see something that's technically hard and see how much effort goes into something that's technically precise and has that artistic level to it, that to me is so impressive that all this other stuff that people do, I'm quick to be like, yeah, that's trash. Like, don't get me started on Fast and Furious or Transformers movies. That to me, that stuff is just totally like, get out of here with that garbage. You're spending hundreds of $millions and you can't put a decent plot together. Where something like this, not only what you talked about the technical aspects, because I was just amazed. One guy in his room, and I don't know how it is, just to get lighting right with a crew, lighting effects, your cinematography, the camera work, your camera lenses, your depth of field, everything you do. And for him to do it as a one-man band to get those effects, but to incorporate it with the songs, and for my bit, the comedy. I mean, for most of you, the comedy is very self-deprecating, but it's also a reflection of society, a reflection of internet culture. Like you said, white girl Instagram. To me, there's a few moments, and I mean, I guess we can talk about that next, that I thought took it from just, if you watch his previous specials, there's been a growth, and from when he first started, a lot of it was just songs, making fun of things, quippy things, being very satirical. Uh, I know I'm trying to think of a good example where he's making fun of like how America treats immigrants, and he goes, "I'm in the USA, but I never thought I'd be talking about USA." Using the pun, using the words as a pun. It was from that comedy, and that bit touching back on when you're saying him apologizing from some of the stuff from back before, to a growth where it becomes more introspective, mirror on society, things like that. And for example, one of the keen example is when he's making white woman's Instagram, and he's basically just mocking the things you see on basic Instagram feeds. The white woman, always posing, always putting these things on there. But there was a part on it where the white woman he's imitating, she starts getting serious and starts talking about her mother passing. If you notice, the aspect ratio when he's doing the whole song is in that basic Instagram. I don't know what they call it. They call it like a taller. How would you describe it? You know what I'm saying? That the aspect ratio that's built more for phones. It's long, tall ways and skinnier from the sides. Instead of being 16:9, I guess it'd be 9:16. You understand what I'm saying?
Like flipped?
Yes, like the aspect ratio is made for your phone. So it's much taller and skinnier on the sides. And that's basically on white woman Instagram. The aspect ratio closes in to look like the Instagram part. But like near the end of the song, when she starts talking about, "Hey mom, I miss you. I can't believe I've gotten here. It's been so long since you've been gone." The aspect ratio widens out and it becomes full screen, as if like this is actual, sincere, honest moment. But the instant he starts, the song goes back to, "And hey, yeah, I got that promotion, and man, you can do it too." It starts closing back in to the Instagram. So basically, it's a meta. He's meta analyzing, saying like, yeah, as soon as you start talking about yourself, you're closing back into the race. I think it's just little things like that. When I watched it and then rewatched it so I was like, this is just a work of genius in the past year, and also dealing with COVID. Everyone's online now. Jeffrey Bezos. I was singing that song around my house, driving my wife crazy for the last few days. Just a meta narrative on everything that's gone on in the past year, and I just thought it was brilliant. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm listening to what you said. I can appreciate someone else liking something. Not everyone's gonna like what I like. So yeah, I get it. I get exactly what you're saying. Just like I said, wasn't my cup of tea. I mean, I guess if he was on YouTube originally, is this kind of like PewDiePie making a Netflix special, or?
No, and you seen the part. There was another part where he is directly making fun of PewDiePie. The part where he's pretending like he's controlling himself in a video game. Yeah. That's a direct shot, or satirical jab at PewDiePie and the things he do. If you notice, he gives thanks several times when he's thanking, "Hey, thanks for a few more money." Have you ever watched a Twitch stream where?
Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah,
where people
I watched Liz, Leaping Liz, do her Twitch, and Michaela Lee, she did a Twitch a few times. I've seen.
And sometimes they'll go and they'll be like, "Oh, so and so, thanks for the 3 months," or people donate or tip, or I don't know what they call it on, or subscribe, what they call it on Twitch. But on his, he was doing it, and every time he was thanking Dante, as in Dante's, as if going further and further into hell. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize that as well. Like, I didn't know the Dante thing, like you said, but I mean, the whole tipping thing and everything, I still don't understand that. Like I told you, I don't understand Twitch, and even though we are on Twitch right now, I don't understand how it works. Besides, giving out, like Liz would give out like leaping bucks or whatever she called them, I forget, and Michaela would do the same thing. So they give out like this currency to like as prizes to people, and somehow that's used to for their channel. And so I never understood that, but I did think that, like I said, every part of it was clever, including that part. You know, it was very interesting how he did that. There were a few other times. Oh, the time where he's reviewing his short little music video, and then he does a commentary on it, and then the window goes up here, and then it's him reviewing the commentary, and then it's him again. And so so like I get it. Like I said, I get it, and I can appreciate it. I don't think I laughed out loud once. I don't know if I was supposed to. And also, I want to touch on the mental health aspect because I mean, do you know if that's something he's struggled with? Because he mentions it several times during the special, and I'm not sure if he was. I don't think he was joking about it, because obviously it's not something you should really joke about. I hope he has it under control. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right. No, absolutely. Mental health is something that he's definitely talked about, and he I think you mentioned it on the last song where he was getting panic attacks and anxiety before when he was performing live on his tour. And he's talked about he has a couple of tour dates where in the middle of a show, he'd be having a panic attack. And so basically he gave up doing stand-up and touring for about 5 years. And that was the ironic part about it. 2021, he had finally decided, hey, I think I'm better. I'm going to go out. And he was setting dates for 2020 for 2020 to go and tour, and then COVID hits.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all together, I think probably he was going to go on tour, and then near the end of the tour, he's probably going to film another special. And then once COVID hit, he just decided, well, this is what I'm going to do. And
I mean, I don't know. Did he have all that? He talked about, filming the special and planning it and then filming it over. I mean, the way he makes it sound, it seems like it'd be going since COVID started until basically a few months ago, editing the whole time, it seems, from, the special itself. But did he have all that equipment ahead of time, or did he order it special for the special? I mean, he's got the light that he wears on his forehead that's like a visor light that I've never seen before. He's got the projector, obviously, which he uses throughout the special. He's got a lot of equipment that, I mean, I don't have. I thought I invested a lot in this guy. Not that he has money to burn or anything, but that's a lot of money on equipment that he dropped just from what you see throughout the special.
What I'm guessing is probably the musical equipment he already had, and the lighting. I don't know if that headlight, I don't know if that's just a common work light, because I've had those lights, the ones, they're like, I guess a coal miner light would be the best way to describe it. But my guess is once COVID hit and he realized that he wasn't going to be able to be in there, maybe he just decided that, I mean, by the time we hit, I don't know, what was it? I was on the boat for the first 3 months. I didn't get home until almost July. Probably after the first month, it was pretty much, and he was, I'm guessing, in LA, where COVID was just LA, New York. Maybe just realized after a month, hey, we're going to be stuck inside, and just ask for the equipment to come through. I mean, probably Amazon and most of it and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
yeah,
of course. But the light I'm talking about, it is a cheap little thing, I'm sure. It's like that, remember, those neon bands you wrap around your wrist, you crack them and you wrap it around your wrist. It was like a white one that he had like on his forehead right here, and it was very bright. That one, not the headlight, not the coal miner headlight you're talking about. Right. But not that it's expensive. I mean, shit, my ring light that I'm using right now only costs $25. But I mean, I think the biggest thing is like the mixers that I see, obviously the MacBook, but that's a separate thing. His musical equipment, which, like you said, he probably already had, because he shows that YouTube video of him playing the keyboard at 15, 14, 16, however old he was. So yeah, I mean, I just go back to the whole technical part of it. Technically, I think it is genius. Like I said, was it something I would recommend or watch again? No, unfortunately not.
Okay, no, fair enough. But for my part, I mean, there were several moments where I just was dying laughing. I mean, I've gone back, like I've probably watched the whole thing, and I think one time I actually fell asleep just because I was watching it late at night again. I've probably watched the whole thing straight through maybe 3 times, but I've gone back, and then my favorite song, and this song, it's already gotten almost like 9 million views on it by itself on YouTube, is the song "Welcome to the Internet," where he's playing
Oh yeah, yeah,
"Welcome
yeah.
to the,"
Is
and
that the
to
is
me,
that the one with the lights and it's almost like Weird Al-ish? He kind of like
yes.
goes all yeah. That I did like that one. I almost kind of laughed at that one, but unfortunately, I think I was also suppressing it. Like I'm pissed at Saint for making me watch this, but that's fine.
I mean, from the very get go, and like I said, I appreciated his comedy, but I wasn't a huge Bo Burnham fan. It wasn't like I was just like, oh man, this guy's. But I don't know why this special just hit me in a way, because I'm like, all right, I'll watch this, see what's going on. And to me, it was just like, man, this is genius. Maybe I'm also leaning a lot into the technical side, because I just imagine, I mean, even the work with the projectors, like having and then getting it right on his face and recording it. And I guess he's recording using the Lumix system, Lumix X1, which is
Is
the
that the camera he
only.
was using?
Yes, the
Okay.
Lumix, because I have a Lumix camera, what I'm streaming with right now. Nothing as good as the S1 right now. Mine's a G85, but the
Yours
S.
is frozen right now, as all the viewers notice. But hey, shout out to Lumix. It did look very beautiful. The special did look beautiful. I'll say that.
I don't think it's the camera. I think it's the whatever. But um, no, what I'm saying is that's the first mirrorless camera that's approved. That's Netflix approved, so you can tap into its settings. And what everyone knows about the Lumix cameras is they would be almost the perfect cameras, even better than Sony and Canon, but their autofocus, like their active autofocus to find and track your face and all that kind of stuff, is just far behind the Sony and the Canons. But when you set the camera in one spot and you have your focus dialed in, though the Lumix, that's the reason I got into the Lumix system, and they're weather sealed. And like I said, if you talk to people, that camera system is great, except for the active autofocus, which a lot of, filmmakers or would-be filmmakers, they can't use it because autofocus doesn't track as well. But when you're in
Right.
a single spot and you set up your lights and your focus is right, um, they're great. And then this just showed, to me, it just showed your limits is really just your creativity. Like this guy with the songs, with, just give him the equipment and what you can do all by yourself in a room. To me, it's just nuts. And I guess that's why I just was over there. I was like, wow, just amazing. Especially now that I'm getting more into camera and lighting and stuff. And I just want to bang my head because, I can barely get what I want, right? To see this guy can produce a special that high quality. I mean, not only writing the songs, but coming up with the shots and, mixing and matching the songs with the video. It just is for me. Hey, let's just take a quick break and we'll split this up into two. We'll take a quick break right now and maybe fix my camera feed, and we'll be back with part 2 of this podcast. So yeah, we'll just use that as a break right there.
Do you want me to try to kick you out and put you back in, or you want to do something on your end?
Yeah, if you want to do that, that could work.
All right, I'll remove you. Let's see if that does anything. That didn't do anything. That just removed you from the stream. Like I'd have to kick you from the studio. Not that it would ban you or anything, but if you close the browser and go back in or refresh, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to refresh.
All right. Hi everyone. I'll keep you company in the meantime. Let's do. I don't know how to juggle, so you'll just have to stare at my wonderful art and my Funkos, my pops, while we wait for Saint to get back because this is his baby. Let's see. Here he comes. I see movement on his camera. I hear him. There he is. I had my boss is actually watching, so she's like, "Does this guy know that he's not? Does this guy know that he's not moving or that he's frozen?" I'm like, "No." I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't want to interrupt your flow, but right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so hold on, let me get this back on.
And do you know how to download from StreamYard if you ever had to? I know you're recording audio on your end, but I can show you that sometime if you need, or I can just put the audio files on the Google Drive. That's total. You're gonna edit all that. Yeah, edit Google Drive. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So hold on, let me go back and start recording again.
Yep. What do you think of the background instead of the leaves? I don't know.
I like.
Let's try a different background. Oh,
or that one. I don't know, some of the abstract stuff, it's like it works, but sometimes it's too distracting. So
Yeah, you don't like Vinny's art.
I do, but it's like I like it for like if it was in my house, personally. But when you're trying to like promote and get people to understand and see things, it's like I like clarity. I don't like people looking at things and be like, so what is? Not to mention, it kind of reminds me of a funky real world kind of
the logo, yeah.
logo.
You like the ticker with the name, and I screen capped the thing from Apple Podcasts and put it up there because I didn't have a JPEG or of the logo you made.
I didn't put it in the Google Drive.
Maybe you did. I didn't look there. I didn't think to look there.
Okay.
All right, restart. Well, go ahead.
And we're back. The USSR this week. We're talking about Inside, the new Bo Burnham special. So just to quickly wrap up, I mean, for my money, I haven't really seen anything better in the past year. I mean, there's been a lot of shows, a lot of things. I guess what I'm talking about is anything made post-COVID. I guess there's a lot of things that are made that are supposed to come out and they were, partly done or they had finished filming and they're supposed to come out in 2020. But, because of COVID, they got delayed. And so things are coming out in 2021. But for my money, the only thing that I know that's been filmed post-COVID that I think, has really been just A+, amazing, out of the park that I would recommend has been this. Has there been anything else that you've seen that has been specifically filmed post-COVID or including after COVID that you think that you'd recommend as the top of your list?
I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head because I don't know what was filmed before. Obviously, there's several things, but I think were filmed pre-COVID. Like Mayor of Easttown, you think was probably pre-COVID, right? Maybe.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe they finished wrapping pre-COVID.
Okay. I mean, it's hard to tell. Obviously everything was delayed. So anything that's coming out now, like Quiet Place, Conjuring, everything was filmed pre-COVID or at least wrapping up right around that time. Regarding anything that's been filmed since, no. And if you're basing it off that, then yeah, this would get higher marks for me. Still, would I watch it again? No, it's just not. And again, I'm not bagging on him. I don't know the guy. I just the first time I've ever heard his comedy. I can appreciate some of it. I can appreciate what he was going for. It just wasn't my cup of tea, and that's where I'm at with it.
So going back, I mean, you mentioned Jim Jeffries. Who else would you say right now, like, does it for you in the stand-up comedy or comedy in general? Phrase. I mean, there's a big debate now about, and there's been some people who've, I wouldn't call hate, but I guess there's a big debate in the stand-up world of what's comedy, what's a comedy special. I mean, some people, I guess they're in their feelings. If you're not actually doing real traditional stand-up, they don't want to be called a comedy special because they see it as something else. And I guess there is an argument to be made that this is more of a piece of art. I wouldn't call it a movie either, but it's something that's not traditionally what you consider a comedy special. But for you, who in comedy is doing it nowadays, who you say like, yeah, I'm really a big fan of what that person produces?
I'm going to sound like an old fogey. I'm not hip on the comedy like Jeffries. If I play my iTunes right now, the comedy that I play that I stay on when it comes on because I skip past the Louis C.K. nowadays. But I'll keep Mitch Hedberg, and yeah, he's dead, so I'll never get to see him live. But I keep that on because it's still funny. I like that kind of out of the box thing. I'm not, like we've discussed on the main podcast and other things. I'm not one for sitcoms or that type of thing. If I can find a good comedy show that'll make me laugh or a good movie, but it's hard. Comedian's the only one that I go to regularly because I did try Tracy Morgan a few years ago, like we talked about on the main podcast. I didn't love him when I saw him live. I don't know. And it was after the accident too. So I don't know if anything changed or whatnot, but Jeffries and Louis C.K. were the two that anytime they were coming to town or anywhere in Florida, basically, I'd be go see him. Weird Al too. I mean, I guess we can classify him in there because if you talk about Bo Burnham and all his music, I'm a big in Weird Al. So
and he, Weird Al made a cameo in this one.
Yeah.
Remember, he had the Venn diagram of Weird Al and Malcolm
Malcolm
X.
X. Yeah.
Come on, man. To me, that's gold. That's just genius to,
That
be that self-aware, but to make a joke out of it. Like, it's stuff like that. I'm just like, oh man, that's right up my alley where I just die laughing at that kind of stuff. I don't know.
No, that definitely made me laugh. Like I said, it's just it was, I don't know. It's just the whole special in general. But that part, like, I got a kick out of that, just because he brought up Weird Al.
Right.
And Weird Al, Weird Al's last album, I mean, to be fair, it was like 5 years ago, probably at this point. It was #1, but he hasn't really put out anything since. He's been mainly like lurking on Twitter and Instagram, doing his usual funny shit. And then but he hasn't put out like any real music. I think he teamed up with who did he team up with? A popular like younger band. He had like a little cameo in a song recently, and I downloaded that. It was pretty good, but it wasn't funny. I don't think it was meant to be funny. It was just him singing. And then he put out a weird song during the 2016 election that I wasn't really a big fan of.
You know what's the problem probably for Weird Al is that there's no real popular music. There's not enough good popular music to make parodies of right now. It's like when you look at it, when you put it all together, it's like, where are you gonna what songs are you gonna grab? And I mean, a friend of mine, we've talked about this, and I think it's another reason why something like Bo Burnham comes along with his musical talent and how he can make fun of all these things. But I mean, for Weird Al, I mean, who would you get? You get Taylor Swift, but she hasn't really had like a big enough hit. Like, there's not enough pop hits to make a full album of parodies. That's the problem.
And that's why he's not making anything, hasn't put anything out, because back when he was on his record contract, when that was a thing, he would have to record a whole album, put it out, and by the time he put it out, half of those songs would be a few years old, and so the relevance was like, it doesn't mean they wouldn't be funny, but it wasn't perhaps as timely. And that's one of the reasons he stopped it. He put out his last album. He's like, thanks to Scotty Brothers or whoever the record company was, but he wants to try to focus now, I think, on putting out like singles in a more timely fashion, because he can do that with digital music and things like that. I read an awesome Rolling Stone article on him. I feel like we're getting totally sidetracked. I'm sorry. but I read an awesome Rolling Stone article on him about how his process, and he's still doing it. Like, he sits down for, whether it's a few hours or whatnot, every day trying to put up funny lyrics. And obviously he stays relevant. I mean, the one band, I just wish I could look it up. The one he put out a single with, it was a popular little band, like lower key though, not crazy like I was going to say Katy Perry. That's not Billie Eilish or anything like that. And I want to touch on one more thing. I think another reason that I feel like the special didn't hit as much with me is because I'm not as big into music as maybe you are, with your whole DJ background and being into music. I feel like if you're into music, it'll hit a lot closer to you because, I love music, but I listen to more stern podcasts. Those are my things. And if I'm in the shower maybe, or somewhere where, or if I'm in the mood, like one of the things on the main podcast, I still want to do top 3 perfect albums. I do want to get around to it, but my albums are going to be from, one's from the 70s, one from 2000.
Oh no, there's, which is funny. I mean, we do need, because I know what my #1 album is, and I know it's not going to be any of you guys' #1 album, but it's when that album dropped, 1998. I know when my perfect album is, and it's a hip hop album. Just to let you know. I mean, we should do that. But going back to it, I guess that coming back to the special, yes, I super appreciate real musical talent, and even if he's using it in a comedic way, I just think so much music nowadays is just straight garbage. Again, I got that hater gene in me. Like I'm a fan of hip hop, and he uses a little bit in here. He's very smart. He uses show tunes and uses different genres. But being a huge fan of hip hop, I will readily admit, like 90% of the hip hop that comes out nowadays, and maybe I'm just old. I'm about to turn 40 this year, but I talked to some of my friends and like, yeah, man, this stuff is what the most damning thing I can say about hip hop nowadays is, as a DJ, I know, and it doesn't even matter if I'm in a club full of, millennial / Gen Z, Gen Y people, people who just turned 21 or people in their mid to late 30s. Some of the younger people, they're going to want some of the newer songs, but you could almost get away playing the songs that I still played back in 2005, 2006. And then some songs like Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, some of that stuff is just timeless. Like you can drop a Notorious B.I.G. in the middle of a club today and it'll work. Where there's the hot song that was hot 3 months ago, people don't even want to hear it. They don't even know, like, you're still playing that music? Like, come on, dude. Like, we're past that song. Where I can play a song from 1994 and it will still get more positive vibes and positive reaction in the club today. So that's the thing with music. But maybe you're right. I just have a real appreciation that someone, it was just the music and the audio visual of the camera work and setup. It just blew me away. Like one guy in a room and doing and writing all the songs. It's, to me, it's just like, because I've tried to produce stuff, that's probably the thing I failed at the most is people are like, oh, you're a DJ, man, you should produce tracks and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm a DJ. And I tried. I'm just like, oh boy, this is a lot harder than I thought if you don't really have that musical ear or whatever. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that's probably the biggest thing. Artistically, I give him everything because I wish I could come up with something like that. Thinking of, if I've been trapped, I mean, I have a day job and not putting him down. I have to do the day job, but I did have those 3 months off earlier this year. Did I do anything? No, I worked mainly on the podcast, and maybe that's a little bit of a effort, but I could have been locked in a room doing whatever the fuck he was doing for a year and at least starting, but I didn't. It's just not my thing. I couldn't do it. I've always wanted to write a screenplay about, my life, and I have it pictured in my head. Like it's not really dialogue heavy. It's just me like growing up and shit like that, but it never happened. So yeah, artistically, bravo, 100 out of 100, 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Wouldn't watch it again. Wouldn't recommend it.
That's so great. No, I like it. I like that we both, because I tend to think me and you kind of have the same taste. I don't know, artistically, but no, it's good that, something that I enjoy and you're like, and there's probably tons of things that, you enjoy. And I'm just like, what, I can't think of anything right now. But...
Pickleball. That's what...
Yeah, I have no idea. Okay.
I think it's an old white people sport. I see it heavily advertised around here in Bureau, so I don't know. I've never played it. I think it's basically tennis with a wall, but that's handball or the other thing they play. So I think it already exists. But I
would say handball or racquetball. I think they already
have. I don't know how it differs, honestly, but no, I was just making a joke because I've seen that in every newspaper. They're like, oh, we're putting in new pickleball courts, and totally off top. But no, you're right. We do. Like I told my wife, I said, if Sainte lived closer, I think we'd like be best friends, man, hanging out, whatever. But like we don't, because we never, CSB, and then you went to Seattle, and then whatever. But yeah, I think we are of a like mind. It's just in this, I went into it with an open mind, man. I'll give anything a shot. I was waiting for that hook, like I said at the beginning. I never got hooked. I avoided the hook.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We both got to get together. It's funny you mentioned it because I was just talking about like, man, I need to finish those 2 screenplays I meant to write. And I was like, I got the software, just haven't, finished it. But again, off topic. But so for my last question, what I wanted to say is, does this special make you excited to see the next thing Bo Burnham is going to do? And obviously, I know your answer now. Like, not really. But I'm super excited. I just want to see what he does next. I'm pretty sure he might not tour, but I'm pretty sure he's probably going to take a break from this. But I think it's getting critical acclaim. I think there's tons of think pieces out about it. So in those terms, of course, Netflix doesn't put out their numbers or the metrics, but I'm guessing for them, it's probably a hit, probably their biggest comedy. I couldn't imagine another comedy quote unquote special being bigger than this one. So I definitely think that Netflix probably has seen this as another hit for them. So I'm super excited to see what he does next. I'm guessing if he directs somebody else's special, or if he does another movie. I haven't delved deep into it, see if he's done any interviews about it yet. But if he does, I'm gonna be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I'm super excited for what he does next. So that's me, and I'm sure you're just like, whatever. But
I have an open mind. I'll always give something a shot. I'm still trying to slug my way through Gone with the Wind. You know, a 90-year-old movie
ugh,
almost, and it's just yeah.
ugh, why? Why?
I feel like I have to. I feel like in my life I have to try to, especially the older movies that are like classics. I have to try to watch them.
I mean,
And
we can do an episode on Gone with the Wind, but it's just gonna be me shitting on that movie. So, no, see how I would be like, okay, technically for the 1930s, yes, I will give Gone with the Wind, but then the plot and everything is just gonna be, 45 minutes of me shitting on the old, lost cause narrative of that movie. Ugh.
yeah, I don't have much good to say about it right now, except for Scarlett O'Hara, the actress. She's pretty cute, but that's all I got. And that has nothing to do with the movie. But there's some cool stuff. Like I just watched the part where they're burning Atlanta, and so the fire in the background, it's not a real fire. So figuring out how it was like superimposed, like, and where the actors were, that kind of technical stuff again brings me back to the technical side. Because I always wanted to do behind the camera.
Right.
I will give you everything for this Bo Burnham Inside, 5 stars technically. That's that. And Gone with the Wind for 1939, 1938, whenever they filmed it, seems great technically, just like you said, but the rest of it, it's really I'm not like, oh shit, I gotta go watch Gone with the Wind right now. Like, I have to watch it. I've been dying to watch it. No, I'm like, I got nothing else to watch. Let me put this on.
All right. Yeah, maybe we'll do a couple episodes about some classics, Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane, that kind of thing, get back, but Gone with the Wind, huh? Anyway, so that'll do it for this week's episode. Next week, we got to talk about Loki. I think coming up, we're gonna do a TV show Loki, and then some oldies but goodies. We definitely are gonna get to the namesake of our main podcast. We got to get to The Usual Suspects and the Boondock Saints eventually. Got to do those. Wouldn't be right if we didn't. So, and hopefully we can get Jeremy and Vinny to show up for those. But thanks, Mike, for doing this episode. Thank you for watching the movie that you didn't really enjoy, but I berated you to. It's always good. And, whatever suggestions you have. And if you guys have any suggestions of any TV shows and movies you want us to review, feel free to hit us up. The Usual Saints screen reviews at gmail.com or on our main feed, the Usual Saints at gmail.com.
I gotta correct you. Right there. We couldn't get the Usual Saints at gmail.com. So it's just Usual Saints at gmail.com. But if you go to our website, theusualsaints.com, it has all our ways to contact us. We have our own little email addresses too. I still have to add the USSR page to the main website. So that's not on there yet, but it is on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's everywhere else.
Good. I was just going to say that. Find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, anywhere you get them, we're on there. Anchor, all that good stuff. So so for Saint and Mike D, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the USSR, and we'll catch you next week with another episode. Peace.
Ciao.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm gonna